Good morning. Just after 9:15, 20th of June, 2019. It's E from MarketWizards.com, eMoneyWizard.com, reminding traders to use risk capital you can afford to lose. Yeah, to new heights, no doubt about that. These are some of the tools that we use, and we do remind you to use risk capital. Tricky business, and today will really, in my opinion, be tricky. Well, let's take a quick look. Anybody that's been following along with potential targets is a good chart to start with. We had identified the potential to get up to that 60 range to retest 61 and a quarter previous high. And then obviously the 65 and a quarter for this contract high. So that's certainly one of the things that we're going to keep an eye on today. Because if we get above it and then drift back through it, it could obviously just be a blow off and then obviously abandon it, as we did before with the 47. Said a long time ago, this 47 last year's high was important. Blew through that overnight. That was our first logical target to come up and retest that 47, 48 area. And then probably that 52s, because that was where we had a gap, 51 and a half, 51 and a quarter. That's been closed. And then we've continued to drift up, and I've suggested that probably the short side would not do very well early while we had a momentum trade going. And yesterday we had suggested the buy zone would probably be 12 to 15 for support. That's held like a champ. So that's support, obviously, until broken, and so is the scene of the crime. And that's what I've already identified in one of our charts that I posted. So look that over, especially you newer traders, and then understand what we have suggested and potentially why these targets have come into play. Again, all done in low overnight volume. So typical Charlies will get caught today trying to be too aggressive long side, my guess. And all our targets for the day have already been hit except for one, which is that 65 and a quarter test to 68.75. I had a target show up. Actually, 67.75. The frame is 68.75. So keep this chart handy. It will help you down the road to remember some of these potential retests. And I'd say plus or minus a point, make sure you are paid of that 65. There's a little profit taking, my guess. 1 minute chart. This is what I posted this chart in a room to show you what I thought was support for now. That little double. So that's the range type trade right now. Got to bust that. That's a 1 minute chart. And I said this was supportive to try to get to that 65 and a quarter. So my guess, 61 and a quarter becomes pivotal today to 62. This region should be pivotal today. And if we scale it back, here's your 2. Here's a 3. And the 5 that's been working. Cannot do better than this for a chart. And then obviously our primary chart, the 15. I think we've got stolen range. Note how yesterday this just took off. I said that 12.5 to 15 probably support. Can't guarantee it, obviously, but looks like that would be defended. And if it is, then we need to see if there's any follow through. Well, we get the triangle top and they just sit here and they wait. And then after hours with no volume, they can scoot it up. Typical big boy play. They love to do this and then make you chase. Knocked out all the stops from the weekends and then go. So we've talked about upside targets. Let's take them one at a time. For now, that 68 is what we're using as resistance. And I say that anybody playing short side, you're probably going to get lucky maybe once, maybe twice today. But the plan should be morning after trend day, try to buy pullbacks. And if you don't like what's happening, don't trade. Just relax. Never make it about any one day. That's silly. We need our VIG. Every day we get our VIG. Find trades you like. If not, don't trade it. You'll make up for it the next day. And my goodness, if you have played it all overnight and gotten a piece of this, your day's done already. All right, this is what it looks like for now. Anybody that is playing the open, I'm still suggesting that the most important thing you can do is protect profits if you've had a good overnight. I'm not thinking a plunge, but I am thinking protect what you've been able to do. If you played pre-market, the convenient trade really has not come into play much other than once we got near that prior contract high. It has not given back a lot. Go pre-market, get a point or two that you can use as seed capital for a trade you really like during RTH. So for now, we're going to take this box and we're going to put it up here and say that's our resistance box. This is our fighting box right there. And obviously, this is our support box, which makes perfect sense. Said 45 to 48 is our normal support right now. Got to be. Basis this proportion and basis that 47 last year's high. That would be a retest. There'll be a few crazy swings today, probably. They're going to try to trap a few shorts, and then we're going to try to trap a few longs. Simple as that. And I think stolen range. Don't think big plunge, and certainly don't think big boost from here either. Just my thinking right now. Here's your angels and demons. Low volume. Terrible for the shorts who thought all they had to do was close their eyes and bang a couple of areas and just got blown out overnight. Look at the size of our angel. That was the biggest clue. And then we could not break scene of the crime. So it doesn't mean that we have to go and fly up here overnight, but the best chart to help you see that is one with a moving average. And once you're reading the 15 and the 5, you're just saying, okay, until we take out that blue line, that's supportive. And the 5 was even better. So use the 5 for now, and then maybe back it up with a 10 before the 15. So this 55 to 56 area, I think, will be key as a support. That gets busted, anything goes, but for now, I'm looking at that as a key area of support. And probably over trading is the biggest problem today. certainly expecting too much short side unless there's a news event. Thank you, Don. That's a great post. A reminder: we put out targets to suggest where we may go, and they don't have to be timely. Meaning today, the numbers that I've talked about and Don has talked about are eventual targets, and we have to play it step by step. Most traders don't get that. It just starts to factor in. So yesterday we factored in that 3025.75 to 26 target. And we said, let's not get guilty of thinking too much too soon. So first things first, you got to get by the contract high. And then after that, these other targets that we've talked about come into play. And a reminder, we're going to leave a lot of chips on the table on a day like today. All right, play well. We'll do another video in a few minutes. Anybody that is coming in, we'd said if you can get to the 58 to 57, good for you. Beyond that, be very careful in this 56 range. Because our target today was 58 and a quarter. We've already blown through that. Let's take one more look at predictive chart just to see where we were. This is where we left off. And this 58 to 59 area is the beginning of the top of this frame. This is our resistance right back here. We'd call it 68.75. Market is taking profits and searching for support right now. So this is the way we're going to shape this up for now. This will be our resistance box. This will be our normal fighting box. And this is our support box. And the flip was right here. We'd said at 30. Look how that held last night. That's your flipper. Anybody gets to the 58s to 59s, stops down if you're short. And we'll keep that 68 as a resistance for now. Anybody into the 58s, paid for sure. I know there's a lot you'd like to get, but I think right now you've got to be a little conservative. We're going to do some range trading most likely. Guard against your fear of missing out. And Q is off about 40 points already. Bracketing 78 right now, plus or minus 20. I said Charlie's going to get caught. So Charlie got caught early today. And this is just a case of risk and reward for that last point. It's our 10-minute chart testing that double that held early to push. Now that support's being tested. All right, good trade. If you got a short, good trade, put in your pocket.